Hey. Hello there, and welcome to Real Talk with AngrySoccerMom and Anastasia. If you're here, please don't be shy and definitely say hello and tell us what you think. I want to first start by welcoming Anastasia. Thank you for being here.
Hey, what's going on?
Always thrilled to have my host come and talk with me. The live show discussion topics, as always, are anything you feel is newsworthy about anti-racism, bigotry, inequality, and corruption in America. The show is meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind and to serve as an educational tool in cultural competency, with a focus on learning the truth about systemic racism and our real history, which is a lot of hidden history, and it's totally on purpose. Quick announcements, and we will begin. A lot's been going on this week. You don't need me to tell you that. If you would like to send me breaking news, I would be thrilled because I can't keep up. This is where you can send it, and I will be forever thankful. Let me see. I host I guess I never really say this very much. I host a bunch of platforms now. I have a Facebook page, a YouTube channel, Patreon, Vimeo, Instagram, Twitter, and probably some more that I'm not naming. And if you want to support my quest to try to educate white America in our real racial history and in what's really going on in this country, just the basics. I'm not into the advanced stuff. I'm into the basics that a lot of us don't know about. Please share my videos. And definitely, if you like what we say here and you're interested, share this video. So if you want to call in, ta-da, I have a call-in number. Please limit it to 5 minutes, and we will be thrilled to have you. Boop. And that's the call-in number. And let us begin. Tonight's 3 topics that we have are, first of all, happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate it. Many of us are celebrating it as not the traditional way we were taught in preschool, but in different ways, and a little more cognizant of the truth. I'm not sure how else to put that. So we're going to have a topic, that'll be our first topic tonight, which Anna will address. And then we're going to talk about basically America's racist lies, just in time for Thanksgiving. The Rittenhouse murder verdict and the verdict for the trial of Ahmaud Arbery. Lots of similar themes going on, but all with one giant, I guess, major point, and that would be this nation is racist as fuck, okay? And that's all I'll say. I lied. I'll say more, but so Anna, do you want to start us off a little bit about Thanksgiving? First of all, are you celebrating Thanksgiving, Anna? Do you do that?
I am not, ma'am, and because
How
it's a
so?
day of mourning. It's a day in the morning, and we don't celebrate massacres in this house. So, I'll start. So we know the old traditional Thanksgiving pilgrims, buckle hats, religious freedom, yada yada, this and the third. America is the Mary Sue in this story. And as usual, it's a lie, like most things of our history. It's just a lie. So beware, everybody. This is a lesson in CRT, critical race training, theory. I'm sorry, critical race training theory, aka the truth. And most of the time when people think of CRT, they always think it's just about black people. No, it's not just about black people. It's about how this country and it implemented laws to disenfranchise everybody here, including poor white people. What's going on, Talonda? So here we go. It began, well, somewhat began in 1608, right? So you got religious separatists, aka the Pilgrims. Of course, they did not have buckle hats. That's a lie. So they broke with the Church of England and went to Holland. But I don't know if anybody's ever been to Holland. Holland was too progressive for them. So in Holland, I've been to Holland. It was always 420 day, And of course, they have red light districts. But anyway, they thought it was too progressive. So they left. And so they left in 1620. They chucked the deuces, left Holland to go to America. And like I said, like most things, they discovered a land that already had people on it, because unless white people know about it, it doesn't exist. But previous to them, colonizers, other white people had already been there, and they established the colony of Virginia, which was named after Queen Elizabeth, because she was supposed to be the Virgin Queen. However, we know she was getting her sneaky links in. It's just nobody knew about it, nobody talked about it. We know what she was doing. They just. So basically the Mayflower was like a Spirit Airlines experience. It was dirty, it was nasty, it was uncomfortable. People was dying, all kinds of stuff like that. And they were traveling for months. So, food was running out, all kind of stuff like that. And as with the Christopher Columbus, the rapist and murderer and genocidal crazy person, they got lost. And so they landed in Cape Cod, then they went to Plymouth. And this was in December. And so, AngrySoccerMom, you're in New York. So just think about being there in December and not being
I'm
properly
cold
warm.
just thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me. We've been down south when I went Hawaii. So for me, I'm like, man. So they got there in December, so they weren't winterized, and it was Mother Nature took the casualties. She took them out. So basically, half of them was killed off anyway. So, and the ones that were left, they brought diseases and all kinds of things to the people that were there. So the local people went from 8,000 to 1,500. Okay, so you got that. Along with the other things that they were doing, they were, the indigenous people, they honored their dead, they buried them with tributes. So food. So these people, these deplorables, used to raid the burial grounds of the Native Americans for the food. So in 1621, March of 1621, a friend of a friend of a friend was like, "Hey, I got this guy named Squanto. His name is Tisquantum, right?" So that's where that story comes up. So Tisquantum pulls up because they were digging in the graves and stuff like that. But this is the thing. Everybody's like, why does Tisquantum know English? So prior to that, Tisquantum and his tribe were raided and enslaved. He was taken to England. He was taken to England, later on Spain, and he escaped. But while he was over there, guess who he popped into and met? Pocahontas. So he met Pocahontas, right? So so now what we're talking about, we're going to Connecticut now, right? And this is where Thanksgiving comes from. So what happened was it's called the Green Corn Massacre, the Mystic Massacre. So you had the Native Americans, and they were having their green corn celebration. The English soldiers surrounded them, set the longhouse on fire, because back then they all used to live together in like a colony of longhouses. So what they did was they set the longhouse on fire, and anybody that came out, men, women, children, elderly, they shot them, killed them. With the women, they raped them, then killed them.
Can I
So
can I
yeah,
interrupt for a second?
yeah.
This is not the Thanksgiving that I learned in preschool.
Well,
This is
yeah,
not the story.
just like the slaves wasn't happy slaves. You know what I'm saying? Just like anything,
Mhm.
America is gonna lie about what they did. So, of course, but they killed 400 to 700 people that night, right? So the mayor said we need to take time and a feast for Thanksgiving over our enemies. Okay. But that's not the whole of it. That's the thing. So what happened was there was other nations that helped the white people, the English settlers, colonizers. Are we going to use a soft A or a hard ER? Which one? Because anyway, I don't want them to feel bad. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, so now you got this story of the rape, murder, and pillage. They're thanking God for their victory over the savages because that's what they thought of. And the thing about it is, when they came there, they weren't. The Native Americans were not these people that didn't have their own government, that didn't have trade, that didn't have, a culture. It wasn't like that. And that's the thing they keep trying to portray that.
Wasn't the
So
blank map that they say it in the history
yeah,
books, a
what's his name?
blank
I think it
map
was
of
yeah, Rick Santorum. I was just watching that. He said it was a blank slate. No, it wasn't a blank slate. The fact of the matter is that the people that they're talking about is the Wampanoags, right? And they decimated the Wampanoags. They decimated all the Native Americans in those areas. So, like I said, the reason why, you know how they tell you, oh, Squanto came, they talked, they helped them, they had this peace. The reason why Squanto knew English was because he had been kidnapped and enslaved, and his whole tribe had been killed or enslaved or killed by disease. So now, like I said, and when Squanto went to England, he met up with Pocahontas, which her name is not even Pocahontas, is Amante Amokataba. I know I'm, you know. So now let's get into the contemporary. So you had George Washington. He's the one that made the first proclamation. Still wasn't a holiday. Then you had Abraham Lincoln. Now Abraham Lincoln made a it was after the Civil War, so it was November 26, 1863. And the reason why he did it was because he wanted to bring the nation together after the Civil War. But this is the key thing in that. Also, why he signed his proclamation for Thanksgiving Day, he's also signing an execution order for 38 Lakota warriors for fighting for their land. So in the same time he's saying we need to be thankful, he's signing an execution for these Native Americans. So then you have Roosevelt in 1939. And the reason why he said instead of the last Thursday, he said the fourth Thursday is to give you more time to shop. So, of course, always dirty capitalism. So I would suggest y'all out there is many videos out there about the true what really happened for Thanksgiving or what that came from. And so my family and I, we do not celebrate a day of mourning. I don't believe in it, and I hate the fact that I didn't learn about this until I was like in my 30s and 40s about what was going on. That we're actually celebrating a massacre. I would suggest y'all also look up the King Philip's War, because remember I told you that there was two other tribes that helped these white people kill the Patuxent in Native Americans, which was the Narragansett and Mohegans. So those two nations helped, and guess what the white people did to them after they was done with them?
Killed them.
Killed them too. So
Can I say?
Yeah, and that's where we're at right now. And like I said, every year they do a day of mourning. They're actually having one this year as well, and they're live streaming it. So if y'all want to watch it, I'll have Angry Soccer Mom put it in the bio, because it's going to be on November the 25th at 1300. That's 1 o'clock if you're not military. And I suggest you search about what happened and know your history behind this, and how many things in American history that all it's about is rape, murder, and pillage. That's it.
All right. Thank you for that overview. And I put 2 videos up on my YouTube channel and definitely on my page, my Facebook page, that explains, in detail. One's from an indigenous woman, and I think one's from like kind of a cartoon company made it. I'm not sure. But nevertheless, it is never too late to learn the truth. I personally believe that the truth and loving your country are compatible. Okay. In fact, I think they're more compatible than the fantasies that we've chosen to believe in, or we've been brainwashed to believe in. I think there is nothing wrong with loving the country you have, but absolutely being honest about how it came to be. That's my take.
Look, you gotta think about it. Any fascist government, that's what they're gonna do. And a lot of people don't think we live in a fascist government. We
You
do
mean
live.
make up? They're going to do is they're going to make up fabricated stories and holidays to get people to be patriotic. Is that what you mean?
Yes, that is what I mean. The fact
Mhm.
of the matter is that what does Thanksgiving have to do with being patriotic?
Well,
It doesn't. It
it
doesn't.
doesn't, but we've equated that
Yeah.
together, and it's really sad because I truly believe that they're not mutually exclusive. We can hear the truth about our past and
Right.
still love the country we live in now, and whatnot. I think that people get very confused about that. I know. I want to read some of Jamie's. Jamie
Okay.
says, right here. My people suffered the same thing by European Spaniards. They brought disease, took our people to Spain as slaves, forced us to speak Spanish, and became Catholic, Mexican, Aztec, Maya. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. He also goes on to say, there's a couple of good ones. Thank you so much. In Mexico, they took down Christopher Columbus, Cristobal Colombia statues down because it represents the slavery and genocide that was done
Can I
to
say this? Can I say
absolutely.
this, AngrySoccerMom?
Uh-huh.
Do people understand the reason why they even uplifted Christopher Columbus? Because trust me, it's not because America liked Italians. They didn't. To be totally honest, Italians are new whites. That just happened.
Right,
The
right.
reason why there is a Christopher Columbus Day is because there was 11 Italian men that were killed in a lynch mob. So, in order to not, have because Italy is supposedly our ally, they didn't want any trouble. So that's how Christopher Columbus Day actually became a thing, because they lynched the old whites, lynched the new whites that they didn't like, and they was about to get their ass torn up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So Yolanda said, didn't Italians try? No, they didn't try. They did assimilate into being white, just like the Irish, just like the Scottish, just like everybody. The James Baldwin said the price of American citizenship is to hate the Negro. So that's what they did.
all right. So thank you for that. And also this is not all just for done in America for me, but I speak about America and the United States. But as Jamie is explaining to us, this horrible stuff has gone on all over the place. And the bottom line is we are taught things and we believe them and we're indoctrinated into white supremacy. And it's every last one of us. We're just indoctrinated. And there's no place in America, the United States, that is going to, if you're a white person, going to teach you the truth, except you. Or, if you come on to a show or read or, try to find out yourself. There's no, our schools, like you must know by now, are very, very into upholding the lies about our history. keeping our history out of the books, keeping the truth away. And the other day, I'll just make a quick anecdote before we go into the next topic. I was looking at I was helping my child study, and she was studying American propaganda. And I have to say, I was like, damn, it was really freaking good. It was all propaganda. And she was studying it so that the kids can have like a critical mind, use their critical thinking skills and analyze and not be followers. And it was amazing. And I'm going to actually post some of the pictures that she had to analyze. She's in 8th grade. And I was blown away. I was like, all right. I have a lot of bad things to say about my school district because, I live in a sundown town, former sundown town. We have fake liberals all over the place who love to get their picture on social media, but have absolutely no intention of actually giving up any power or privilege. Zippo. I mean, let's just say you're not going to be coming to their house for lunch or dinner afterwards. But they will talk up a storm and take a picture with you. So it's fake liberals, and it's really scary. It's terrifying. It's all about the image. And so we haven't really changed much. Our police are definitely right in there with the whole slave catcher mentality. We've had incidences in our town years ago, that horrible, horrible stuff. I want to quickly say hi to Ronald. Thanks for being here. And thank you to everybody. Before we get started on, I have a rant. And do you have anything else to jump in about Thanksgiving? Or are you pretty good?
No, I was going to add in, I will not forget white women. White women had a part in this as well, like they do everything. Mm-hmm. And when this was going on, white women took it upon themselves to civilize the Native American women. Because, in the Native American culture, women had a higher were in the hierarchy. They weren't
subject. They had higher status.
Right. They had a higher status. Mm-hmm. So they had to fix them. So they call themselves fixing them and making sure their children were taken away to these boarding schools that we see so ever so often, that had hundreds and hundreds of the bones of Native American children. White women did that.
Mm-hmm. And you'll find, and I'm not trying to beg on white women specifically, but the truth of the matter is white women have been at the crux of every single racist event, including owning humans, enslaving them, murdering their children when their husbands were rapists towards their enslaved humans, just you name it. We're not going to get into it now, but a lot of people who are just learning about systemic racism in America have the impression, and I understand we've pushed it, that, a sweet white woman, sneaking and teaching this enslaved person to read. Yeah, right. Okay, sure. I'm sure that happened, when I know it happened once or twice, or, what I'm trying to say is, let's be real. White women have not been friends to Black people throughout history. Not. And I have tons of videos on it, but we're going to move on. I just want to make sure that was, if you're new to the subject matter, America has a lot of lies. We're really kind of full of shit in a lot of ways. And I am not saying you should not be proud of your nation. It is not incompatible with knowing the truth about your nation, knowing our real history. Okay, it's just not incompatible, and people believe it's incompatible, and so they call you're not patriotic. No, I just kind of have this thing for the truth. What can I say? Call me strange, but I don't like living a freaking lie. I can't stand the bullshit. And, that's kind of what we do. And so we have this special, I'm putting up a video tomorrow on a guy who did a great monologue on how he called out people in the middle of a stadium, or I guess a big audience. A guy was about to tell a racist joke, and he jumped right in and he saw it. And we don't do that in America, because we white people have this strange code that, we don't want to call out anyone. Well, I'm here to say, let's change that culture. You learn if you learn the 30 top most cliche classic denials of racism, systemic racism in America, and you practice debunking them, you will not have any problem calling out people around you, because it's the least you can do is to never stand and watch while your fellow human is being demeaned. And it's not just for racism, it's for bigotry, it's for religion, it's for every single historically numerical minority group. We got to learn to stand up for each other, because the wealthiest elites who are running the country and pushing us further right and into all this hatred, they are loving the infighting. They are loving it. That's how they keep us from getting together, uniting, and saying, we're done with this. So on that lovely note, white America has a love affair with racism. Yes, this is my opinion. This is my rant. Rants are always my opinion. We love controlling Black bodies. We have an obsession with controlling Black bodies. We've successfully embedded systemic racism in every area of life while simultaneously denying that it exists. We've really done the impossible. Our government, backed by most of our constituents, is, and I say most because look what we got. It's not just in complete and total denial of systemic racism and in denial of the depths of it, but even for those who do think, yeah, I see some systemic racism, we have no clue about the depth and the pervasiveness of this institution functioning all around us. We're kind of oblivious to it, all right? And lucky us, but you know what? It's not good for us either. White America has kept systemic racism alive and thriving to the point where it actually defines us as Americans. If you're a white American, people thought Colin Kaepernick silently taking a knee. Oh my God, he's not American. Yeah, right. Now, that was a whole nother story, which I won't get into, because that was one of the most American things you can do, is wanting to strive to help build a more perfect union. And I don't know how that got twisted around, probably in all the fantasy and lies, but the fact is that the majority of white people would rather go without or deny themselves and their families if it might mean that a Black person will also be denied. For those who deny racism or think it's just not that bad anymore, this is simply because we're unable or unwilling to recognize or acknowledge it. We either don't know our own history to the point where we're ignorant as hell, or we just don't give a shit because we benefit from it. The culture of white supremacy. Most white folks end up hanging out with only white folks. Most of us, studies say, and it's held over time, sadly, it's not improved too much, do not have a single solitary friend who isn't white just like them. I'm talking about white adults in America. 75% of white adults do not have a single close friend. And they might say they have a friend, but that means they know a Black person or they know a brown person. I'm saying close friend. And how do we all know this to be fact? The anecdotal evidence is clear, because we don't get systemic racism. And if you have a close friend that's Black or brown, I'm going to guess that they be telling you what's going on with them. Because I have a ton personally, and oh my God, they don't know each other. They're from different places all over the country, and they all have the same goddamn story. And it is systemic racism and the horrible, ongoing crime against humanity that it is, that we have the luxury of ignoring. We cling to these old-fashioned ideas that racism is lynching, and that racism is someone who uses the N-word, and it's someone who just hates Black people. Some of us regularly avoid, and this goes for everybody, critical thinking, and we prefer a more ahistorical, non-scientific, fear-based alternative instead of just looking at the facts. But just because we personally don't hate Black people, we dismiss any and all notions of its existence. And so we don't have to think about it. We don't have to get involved. It's not our problem, but it actually is our problem. And oh my God, I don't want to get into it. It's just a very convenient way to continue to enjoy basically our privilege and not share.
It's because they feel like if it's not coming from a place of hate or disdain, that it's not racism.
They just don't
And that's
understand. They just don't
right.
understand it.
And I've had ex-friends, Sherelle, hey babe, that's my bestie right there. She's not my friend anymore, but we have a friend or had a friend that was like that. And she, when she was hit with, oh, it's racist. Oh, well, that you need to calm down. And I mean, I don't talk to her anymore because the way I look at it is if I'm supposedly your friend, you should see what the hell is going on. If you laying up with black men, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a biracial kid. Do you think your kid is not gonna have to go through that, especially if the kid is a boy? You're crazy. So, like I said, I don't suffer fools when it comes to that.
Yeah, let's take a couple of before I go on and we move on. Let's take a couple comments. Uh, White women have a history of telling their white husbands about things to perpetuate racism. Absolutely, they're not innocent. We are not innocent. I don't go to the women's march because it's a white woman's march, and they. I don't want to get into it. But yeah, not a chance. Nope, not until it includes everybody. Um, there's a show on Amazon Prime called Them about white women doing wicked things to perpetuate racism towards a black family who moved into the neighborhood. Oh my God, I didn't know about that. Damn. Sherelle, welcome. They deny systemic racism, not because they don't believe it exists. They know it exists. They deny it because pathological lies are accepted in white culture. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah, well put. Thank you. Harper, one of the guys I follow on Twitter, has a really good way of calling it racist. When hearing a racist joke, he tells the person, I don't get it. I've done it and it works. You know what that's freaking awesome. You know what I do personally when somebody tells a racist joke? And this is terrible. It rarely happens around me because people know what I do and they wouldn't dare, but they're like probably afraid to. But I say, what did you say? And then they'll say it again. I'll say, I can't hear you. And I make them, if they're going to be a racist piece of shit like that and think that that's funny, they should say it out loud for the whole world to hear. So I make them yell it. I mean, so it's a little bit bitchy, but it's just, I don't even know where to go.
But it's not bitchy. It's just the fact that if you're gonna be stuck on racism, don't get stuck on diet racism. Go full R. Go
Absolutely.
full R. And that's one thing I can respect about down south people, and of course the racist trope, because you know who they are. Hey, look here, and I rather open enemy than a quiet one. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, it's scary not knowing who would like to do something horrific to you, because I mean it's scary not knowing who's who. I'm just saying. Neil, hi Kim and Anastasia. You may not agree with me, but the media is spilling for a great share of racism that is happening today as a way to help divide us. This makes me wonder if it's similar. If it was similar in Hitler and Nazi Germany. Yes, the media is definitely doing their part, but I think there has to be takers. There has to be people willing to take. And I agree the media is doing an absolute part. And once we're going to get into this tonight, actually, Neil, because there's something's going on with the media and the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff. And it's crazy because I don't know it's like you don't know who to believe. They lie. It's insane. But yeah, the media obviously plays a huge role. It's supposed to be playing less of a role, but now it's just divided, completely divided. And it's really confusing. Anna, would you like to jump in there and
Of
speak
course.
to Neil?
Well, like I said, I don't debate people about stuff like that. I put facts out. Before the media came around, we were being enslaved. So at the end of the day, the way I look at it is if you're already doing something, people can't lead you into being racist and killing people and doing stuff like that. Now, if we're talking about the media, how the iconography, how they display black people, the only time you see a black person is if they're robbing or they're making it look worse than what it is, or black neighborhoods. They never tell how those neighborhoods got there, or they make our skin darker, or always put us in a bad light. Yeah, I will agree with you like that. And in regards to that Hitler and Nazi Germany thing, First of all, Hitler and Nazi Germany took their cues from us. It wasn't the other way around. And that's a known, documented fact that Hitler and a lot of his generals took the model, they call it the American model, and brought it over to Germany. Now, did we force them to do what they did? No. They just was like, hey, this is what we want to do anyway. So like I said, I blame the media not for making people more racist. I blame the media for them showing both sides thing. So I'll say that.
Yeah, there's no two sides to racism. It's not a controversial issue if you're an American and you actually believe in the Constitution, and it's not. It's just not. But so talking about we'll go on. There are few areas in our life as American United States goers where systemic racism is more blatant than in our cultural white supremacy than our judicial system. So tonight we're going to briefly go over some and discuss the verdicts of Kyle Rittenhouse and Ahmaud Arbery, the trial. Please jump in, and if you want to, I got to say, in my with Kyle, the more I learn, the more I get confused. I was never into the whole thing about defending yourself. I don't know Wisconsin law. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I don't know about this whole carrying these kind of weapons and the age and this and that. But what I do know is, well, what I thought I knew, and I'm going to be really transparent about this. I thought I really, really got this. And then I saw a video and I'm like, you know what? Now I'm more confused than ever. I'm going to show you that video because this isn't good. What's going on? Somebody's lying and somebody's full of shit. And I'm not sure who, but I can tell you that something's not right. So did you want to jump in and say anything before we start with the Rittenhouse case? Anna, are you good?
No, I just wanted Sherelle. She says social engineering will always be in the tool front that will always keep the truth controversial. I mean, yes, like I said, in order for you to do the things that you did to Native Americans, in order for you to do the things that you did to Black people or Asians, you're right. It had to be propaganda. It has to be. You know what I mean? So I'm not denying that. I'm just saying certain things, if it's not already in you, you're not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. So,
right. Like when I was, okay, let me toot my own little goody two shoes horn. When I was a freshman in high school, the substitute was there. And I think that's what you're talking about. There's a sub there. We had a test the next day. It was really, nobody understood the material. It was hard. And somebody took the test off of the answer sheet off of the desk of the sub and passed it around to everybody, made copies of it. God knows how this guy did this, and handed it to everybody. And I didn't take one. Okay. The entire class took one. I didn't take one. And I didn't do very well on that test. That's for sure. And that, there's a lot of background to the story. Actually ended up being so mad as this shy high school kid, being so mad that my grade went down and everyone else got an A when they cheated, that I went to the teacher and said, that's not fair. And I
no, you wasn't a snitch. You snitched.
Oh no, no. They didn't get in trouble.
Oh, okay.
I didn't name names.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, hell no. No, I didn't care who it was. I wasn't going to tell him who it was. And I still didn't tell him who it was. He didn't get in trouble at all. And neither did anyone who took that. I just was pissed because it lowered my grade because it was all on a curve. And I was like, thanks for nothing. Jesus, nice trying to do the right thing. And I didn't have to try. And that was just me. I would have been ashamed of myself. But that's just who I was born as. But I could have easily taken it. And so I went to the teacher, and this is a goofy story. Sorry to go off topic a little bit. And I told him, look, and he said, too bad, basically. And I started walking out, and I was like, okay. And I started leaving. He said, okay, come here. Come back here. And he said, take the entire semester over. And if you get an A, I will switch your grade. So guess what I did? I took the entire semester over the next year, and he switched my grade because that's how pissed I was that it wasn't fair that I did the right thing and it was punished for it. Sometimes doing the right thing, you get punished for. And I'm not trying to be like this little like morals and values person here, but I'm telling you, there's something called free will. Nobody has to be a follower unless there's a gun to your head. Just saying. Okay, so let's move on. Kyle Rittenhouse. So I'm confused as hell about this Kyle Rittenhouse. And you know, a lot of people, I thought I got it, but so part of what you're going to hear from me is kind of getting it, kind of not. Kyle Rittenhouse, as most people are aware by now, he was acquitted and found not guilty on all the counts of homicide and reckless endangerment and whatnot. The GOP has deemed this guy some hero, and they are desperately trying to make him this like he's a good man who just wanted to defend himself while he was just trying to help. And you know, you might be surprised by my take, because my take is I really have no comment on his guilt or innocence with regards to defending himself. You all saw the videos. He murdered 2 people and maimed another. He's guilty. He did it. But whether it was self-defense or not, I don't know. That's neither here nor there for me. It really is missing the point for me. It should never have gotten to that point. What the hell is this kid doing there? I'll say it again. He shouldn't have been there to begin with. And I don't know Wisconsin law, and I don't really know the details of this case because it's very complicated. People like to simplify things, but this isn't. I don't know what the jury was allowed to and not allowed to do. I don't know precisely what directions they were given by the judge. I can't speak to the actual incident because I'm not a criminal attorney from Wisconsin. I'm not even an attorney from New York. I'm not an attorney. It's, you know, it's not explicitly against the law to make really, really bad choices. And clearly he did that. So I don't know, but apparently it's also not against the law for his mother to drive him to go, you know, knowingly drive him, a 17-year-old, making the poor choices with her. I guess she's not held liable. But what I will speak to is why in the world he was ever there to begin with. I'll speak to you about how someone can claim self-defense when they showed up with a dangerous weapon and were kind of a sort of wannabe militia. So we could pretend to be like a policeman or, you know, with a sort of semi-automatic weapon. I mean, you go into trouble looking for trouble, you're going to find it. And I can also speak to the fact that his mother drove him, like I said, and that police knew he was there doing what he was doing, and they encouraged it. And he came looking for trouble. He had no business there. Nobody has a business being a vigilante. But you see, in his mind, he did. And that's troubling. I don't know if he came to protect someone's car lot. I don't know him. I don't know all the stuff. Many people believe he came there for very different reasons. They believe that Kyle Rittenhouse was an indignant white supremacist who was sick and tired of police allowing these protesters to destroy their city and keep bringing more and more attention to the injustice against Black Americans, the murder and abuse. A lot of the media was bent on selling the script that Rittenhouse was this aspiring policeman, and he and the militia were going to go throw their weight around and do these to these unruly protesters that the police wouldn't handle. They were going to take care of them. That was definitely a scenario, and it was a celebrated one. The community was angry in Kenosha, very angry, understandably so. And it seemed like some people believe Kyle came there because if the police weren't going to stop the unrest, he was. Now I'm a little bit confused because Rittenhouse may have used his weapon in self-defense, but he chose to go there and do that. He is not a professional, and he does not get to be judge, jury, and executioner. So it's very, very confusing to me. Rittenhouse may have feared for his life, but it's only because he went there to live out some fantasy like he's a real policeman. So I'm going to ask Anna to comment, and then I want to show you a video because my question was this. What is the deal with these Proud Boys? What is the deal with him meeting up with all these far-right people? Who in the world how can you say someone's not a racist when they go into a bar and do the okay, which is as a racist sign with the Proud Boys. This video speaks to that, and I don't know what to believe anymore. But all I know is this nation has a huge problem, and it's called a white person problem. We're racist as hell, we're in total denial, and we're living a lie. Anna, back to you. Do you want to say anything before you do the video?
Okay, first of all, I like to do a time to kill thing. Now, everybody, let's close our eyes and imagine he was black. Mm-hmm. Imagine this 17-year-old black man, because he would have been a man, not a boy, right?
Oh, of course.
Now, Kyle Rittenhouse was a boy. Now he's a man. You see what I'm saying? Imagine this 17-year-old man was driven by his mother. She's a single parent, possibly getting welfare. So, of course, she's going to be a welfare queen.
Oh, absolutely.
COVID money, the COVID money for unemployment or whatever he was getting it for his friend to buy a weapon because he wasn't old enough to buy it, right? His mother drove him there. Then you say, I didn't know what my son was doing. Okay, so let's talk about that. The second thing about it, my other feelings, I really don't care. You want me to tell you why? Because just like Malcolm X said, this is the chickens coming home to roost. His victims were white, but were they white inconsequentially, or was those the only people around? Because let's not forget what the protest, everybody keeps forgetting what the protest was about. The protest was about Jacob Blake getting shot 7 times. That's what the protest was about. Okay. A black man getting shot.
Yep.
Now let's talk about number 3. Everybody's saying, oh, they were criminals. Did Kyle Rittenhouse know that? Did Kyle Rittenhouse know that? So you're telling me if you do anything in your past and somebody inadvertently kills you or maims you, then you deserved it? And the thing about it is not what's going on. It's what's been going on. This whole militia thing and this I want to be Captain Save a Ho and do all these things is the wet dream of a white person. Is that I'm going to save from these hordes of people and everything like that. The simple fact of the matter is what's going on is a purge. That's all that's exactly, Talonda. And what I'm gonna tell you, this was a warning to white people that if you side with those black people or those Native Americans or whatever, we will kill you too. And it's always been like that. Don't get me wrong. There's always been white people that sided what was going on with us.
Well, the Klans always, excuse me for interrupting, the Klans always had their number one, hate against race traitors.
Right. I told somebody that today, and it was like, I said, white people like that, they hate black people, they hate Jewish people, they hate everybody. But their vitriol is towards race traitors.
Yep.
Because you're an insider threat. You're gonna let them in on the game. So they got to get rid of you first.
You won't play the game of white supremacy. You won't play it. Yeah.
If you don't want to play with us, okay, we're gonna. And you got to understand, Kyle Rittenhouse is a poor white boy. Okay, a poor white man because now he's 18. This white man is poor, and racism is the war of poor people. Because rich people, they like, yeah, going over there. Donald Trump, all of them is like, they love Ashley Babbitt. They love Kyle Rittenhouses. You know why? And them dummies that went up there to January 6th. Because, yeah, you go take your ass out there and die and get shot at my altar. I'm not going out there. So, I mean, again,
we're being used and abused. We're being used and abused, and we're suckers, and we're letting it happen.
I wouldn't say, I would say you being used. I would say that they've manufactured consent. Because
we're suckers, though. We're just
right.
Yes. Generation after generation, we fall for it.
The Civil War. Think about what the Civil War was about. Poor white people fighting for rich white people to have slaves, right? But then poor white people blame the slaves for not having a job. And during that time, they had like the conscript where rich white people can pay poor people to go take their place.
Yeah, you can pay it off. Talk about resentment. Yeah, and not a lot's changed in that regard. I mean, Trump didn't go to war. Of course not. But part of my big problem overall with all these cases is simply that we have an elephant in the room that is so big, it is the room. And that is police brutality and murder of our fellow citizens. And it's not just black and brown people, but you know what? Like I said earlier, we are so in love with racism that even if it kills a bunch of us white folks, as long as it's hurting the black people too. And that's how we've kind of done it over history. It's unbelievable. Big elephant in the room for me is we know about the culture of police overall in America. We know how they started as slave patrollers. We know there's this blue line, this blue wall. It's all out in the open. It's corrupt as fuck. And we as a nation, I'm talking at the national level, do nothing. We'll just let the states, do their thing and be corrupt as hell. What the hell? This is crazy. This is murder with impunity, and they all know it. There's no system. There should be a federal system that monitors everything. You kill someone because they're black, my God, you don't go to the next district and get another job and do the same. I mean, this is crazy. It's a goddamn free for all. I'm just saying.
I just the thing about it is, I'm sorry. What I want to impress on everybody is this is nothing new. The fact that with the Ahmaud Arbery, think about it, the Ahmaud Arbery stuff, it was a family affair. Remember we talked about that?
Oh, absolutely. And when we get into that,
Kyle Rittenhouse, it was a family thing. Most black people or most minorities, we don't take our family to do stuff like that.
Right.
It's the exact opposite.
You protect your family from that. Yeah, well, I'm sure his mom took him and was proud, and it's definitely nothing new. The only thing that's new is that you and I are here. It's like it's our generation, and some of us, and there's always been abolitionists. They might not have been the same as we are now, because a lot of abolitionists in the olden days knew it was wrong, but they didn't think that we were equals. They just knew it was wrong. Okay, let's just get that straight. But there have always been abolitionists. There have always been people willing to risk themselves. Not a lot, but this is nothing new. White people, this is nothing new. You do the right thing because it's called acting human. So my big gripe about this Kyle's case is the big picture is not being addressed. Our police are brutalizing our citizens. And obviously, because they can get away with brutalizing black and brown people more, but the numbers are white people, actually, because there's more white people, the numbers are, but we don't care. We are so racist. We're in love with it. We will think, well, it's just crazy. And that we are not addressing the real problem. We need a total reform. This is ridiculous that police can brutalize and go from station to station and just get a new job. It's ridiculous they can murder and maim and have racist stuff on Facebook and social media, and there's no training and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And we all just say, oh, can't do anything about it. And that's just so disturbing. And, if to get into this case, I'll show the video. I am lost with this whole thing. I don't know who to believe. It's awful. And I hope you can speak to this after seeing this. And Anna, you might have seen this already. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So let's do it. This is a video that I thought I knew. And now I just hate everybody pretty much. Just kidding. So here we go. And I will get us hopefully set up here. Boom, 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 and boom. Hopefully.
social media world who we've invited to ask a few questions. So if it's all right, I'm going to ask one question for a viewer named Jen. Jen says, you've been offered congressional internships from Matt Gaetz and Madison Cawthorn, among others, and I believe Paul Gosar was one of them. Do you plan on accepting these internships or getting back to private life and staying out of politics?
I do not plan on accepting any internships. I don't want to get involved in politics at all. I know nothing about it, and thank everybody for their support, but I'm good. Thank you.
So no interest in carrying the banner for anyone in this highly polarized situation you found yourself in?
No, I don't have any interest in that because, to me, this case is about the right to self-defense, not where you fall, left or right.
But you know that loads of people have sort of put you up there as a reason for or against their cause.
Yeah, which I don't agree with because I didn't want to be used. I'm not a cause person. I'm just a person who is attacked and defended myself.
Have you become a pawn, though, do you think?
I believe Linwood and John Pierce used me for their own pawn. That's part of the reason why I fired them.
To be clear, Linwood and John Pierce were your first attorneys.
Correct.
In your case. So walk me through a little bit. I think people hear the name and then they hear the controversy, but they don't know the whole story. So what, in a nutshell, is the whole story with those first two attorneys?
All right, so Linwood and John Pierce on August 27th became counsel, and they started raising money, and they raised over $2 million before September 5th of 2020, and they wanted to fight extradition with a militia argument, which I didn't even know what a militia was until November 20th when I got bailed out. But they went on to say that I was in an unorganized militia, which is just not true, and they didn't respect my wishes, and they kept me away from my family for 87 days, and I thank them for raising the money, but I could have been bailed out a lot sooner in September if they hadn't kept me in jail.
When and how did you find out that they had raised enough money for your bail and still weren't posting it?
Shortly before I fired before my mom fired Linwood, and I want to say December.
But why would she fire him? Did she fire him because she found out that the money was in the pot but wasn't being put towards bail?
We fired him because he was going on with all this QAnon and election fraud stuff, and just stuff we don't agree with.
And so it was his political views that led to you firing Linwood?
A mixture of a little bit of that.
And what else is in the mix?
Just how he is as a person.
And what does that mean?
He's insane.
What made you think he was insane?
Just how he thinks he's God, and he just says all these weird things like we're gonna keep that boy in jail because there's not gonna be any civil or criminal cases come the election, which is just complete insanity.
So you fired him and got a hold of the money that was raised and bailed out. And now I think it's around $2 million. Am I
correct?
Mistaken?
$2 million.
Okay. What happens to that money now, and what do you know about it?
On the day that I was acquitted, Linwood and his attorneys filed a motion with the Kenosha County Court saying, hey, we want that $2 million back that we raised for Kyle, which is supposed to go towards paying my legal bills that I still have going. And he filed that motion as the verdict was being read, as I was walking into court to learn my fate. And he just was trying to grift that money back when he said he raised it for me so I could be able to pay my legal bills.
And so you're in a legal fight for that money?
Yes.
And you hired civil attorneys?
Correct.
And how much money do you have left in legal bills to pay?
I couldn't give you a number on the top of my head. I looked a couple of days ago, but I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly right now. I've been very busy over the past couple of days.
That sounds right about right, I would think. Do the people who put forth that money, they come from all over the country, I'm assuming?
Yes.
And they have, many of them, a political cause as well, because if it was raised under the political banner and your former attorneys were using that politically to raise money, they might feel a certain way.
With all of our donors, I don't believe my donors are political. I believe my donors are the ones that believe in the right to self-defense. We have donors on the left and we have donors on the right.
So do you feel you owe anybody who helped raise money, or do you feel you owe anyone who sent money, in any respect, whether you owe them a political stance or whether you owe them certain kinds of interviews? People criticize that you did the Tucker Carlson interview because it was all part and parcel of the money raising.
Well, actually, with Tucker, they reached out to us and they wanted to film a documentary. There was no money exchange, and we never even talked about money. It never was brought out. It was about memorializing my story. And with the donors who donated, I don't believe I owe them a political stance, but I do owe them a huge thank you, and thank you for all the support.
So you don't feel that you owe anybody, a backing to their cause because they backed you?
Look, I don't think politics have anything to do with this, so I don't think I owe anybody a political stance, but I do owe them a huge thank you for all the support and donations.
Okay. So let me just come around here. Okay. I don't really even know where to start. I know the last thing I learned was that Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to give him some high honor award. People want him to become an intern at the White House. People want him to be the poster child for the hateful, racist, bigoted, misogynistic, GOP under Trump. Trump wants to talk to him, apparently. So
he did talk to him. He went to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm hearing one thing and I'm watching behavior that's another.
Because he's lying. Okay. Is it my time for the commentary yet?
It is your turn to tell me, what say you about this
It's
child?
bullshit. It's bullshit.
He's lying. Okay.
He's lying. Okay, this is the whole thing. He said something about I'm not political.
Apolitical.
You went out there because it was a BLM protest. Okay? BLM in itself is not political. But the fact of the matter is, we all know why you went out there. Number two, if your ass wouldn't have been out there in the beginning, you wouldn't have had to worry about Lynn Woods and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson and youth Nazi leader Matthew Cawthorn, or whatever his name is. First of all, you know who these people are. Matthew Cawthorn literally said he wants to go to Germany to be a Nazi, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but he is a Nazi sympathizer. Okay. It's not like he doesn't watch TV. It's not like his mom. See, this is the thing that pisses me off, is that they try to feign this ignorance. You know who these people are. You know why they want to talk to you. Now, this is the thing. You got people saying, I want to give you an internship. He should be mayor. Somebody was saying he should be mayor. You don't know anything about him other than he killed 2 people and shot another person at a protest. That's all it takes. Right. That's affirmative action. This is the thing that they all been talking. Oh, black people and women, y'all just gonna get the job. And this is the flip side, the shadow side of affirmative action. The only reason why you're getting offered any of these things is because you're white, you're cisgender, and because you committed violence on people that they don't like. Period. And it's not like you didn't know who Lynn Woods and them was. You knew who them people were. So what are you talking about? I just, like I said, he didn't change my mind about anything. And let's be clear, I I mean, I had no delusions of grandeur that anything was going to happen to him anyway. And he's the poster boy. Ugh, anyway, I'm done.
No, that's okay. Did you? I don't know if you got to hear the part about the Proud Boys and his okay. Did they talk about that in this at all?
Yeah, I seen that already. I seen that. But this is the thing. When you got out, right? When you got out,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't sit your ass at home. No, what you did was you went drinking with your mama to drink with a far right racist extremist group. That's what you did.
Well,
You went hanging with Ricky Schroeder, Silver Spoons guy, that's trying to muster up people to start a civil war. Yo, the thing about it is this whole thing. I hate when white people do this, when they feign this ignorance. Like, oh my God, I didn't know.
mm-hmm.
You did know. Like, ugh.
Yeah. Part of the thing is
I didn't know.
he claims this is a whole I didn't know. He claims his attorney set him up, and he didn't know that those were Proud Boys. And did you hear that part, or should I?
Why wasn't your ass at home? It doesn't matter. Why wasn't your ass at home? If you wasn't out, right? You wouldn't be there. And then you left. Then it was a situation where he left where he was supposed to be. And the judge was like, hey, you were supposed to be on house arrest. Now he talking about, oh, people was threatening to kill me and stuff like that. And we had to move and they wouldn't give him the address. Imagine, listen. See, that what you just showed me, because I've stayed away from watching any of that foolishness.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And they're still going on this, innocent 17-year-old boy. The whole thing they always do, like Nicholas Cruz, he was a broken boy, and Dylan Roof. And then he talking about people on the left and the right. You probably got some of these fools in the church. Oh, we need to forgive him and do whatever, dude.
Yeah, he claimed that he didn't know the OK sign was a white supremacist sign. He claims he did not know those were the a racist white supremacist group, the Proud Boys. He claims all
He
these
said he
things.
didn't know the people, or he didn't know about the group. Which
No,
one?
he knew about the group. He didn't know that's who he was getting a beer from or whatever.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
He said he didn't know who they were. He found out. He says he doesn't know the word militia. And he also said that he found out from the news that he had just met with Proud Boys and taken a beer from them, and that is why one of the reasons he fired them. So I don't know what to believe now. I'm like, this is crazy. This is just crazy. All I know is this speaks to a huge problem. The elephant in the room that we refuse to talk about is simply our police in America are out of control. We all know it. It's a crime against humanity, and yet we do nothing. And I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Like I said, you said, this is the thing, just like Mr. SF Black said, I told you, if that was a black child with a black mother, and
Absolutely.
like he said, and drug abuse, alcohol abuse, all this kind of stuff like that, yo, come on. We already know.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, had it been a black teen with a domestic violence history who broke mandatory curfew to cross state lines and murdered him, he probably wouldn't have even lived to see it. Absolutely. They would have massacred him right there. The police were in on this. The police encouraged it. I mean, there's just so much going on with this case. I'm a sucker. I always have been. My kids know it. I don't even know what to think now. His behavior will speak volumes. His behavior. I'm done with words. I want to see his behavior over time. He doesn't seem repentant. I don't know. Joy Reid said the judge was
Why
13th.
should he be? But why should he be? None of them was repenting until they got to jail. And then it was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. As soon as they got out of jail, the one dude was like, I just said that so I can get out of jail. And the simple fact of the matter is the January 6th thing, a lot of those people, they was allowed to leave, go on vacation.
Yeah.
Dude was like, I gotta have vegan food. Come on.
Yeah. It's out of control. And, if nothing else, it shows the gross injustice of, differences between how people are treated. The whole thing in my mind needs to be about the system we allow to continue for centuries. We know how it started. We know what it does. We don't track it. We don't keep track. We allow these police to kill with impunity. They have no training. They have no education. We are the least educated police force, and they don't even see if they're racist. You really want to give a freaking overt racist a gun so they can, who do you think they're going to shoot? Take a wild guess. In schools, we have these police, and the only thing they're doing is helping to send little brown and black children to prison and start the school to prison pipeline. I mean, these police are out of fucking control in our country, and we do nothing. I mean, this is crazy. The next case I wanted us to discuss is, let me just go to it. Today, I guess it was today. And I already mentioned with Kyle Rittenhouse, Representative Green introduces this bill to Congress to honor him. She is a piece of work. My God, what a racist piece of shit she is.
Well, you know where she comes from, right? That town that she comes from. Remember, Oprah went to that town. It was like the most racist town, and they had a race massacre out there. So, are we really surprised about who this thing of a white woman is?
I just can't believe she's people. I mean, it has just gotten. Let me see. Just reflect. Never seen a judge defend the defendant against the prosecutor like the judge did during the Rittenhouse trial. Absolutely, that was another thing. Talk about bad taste in your mouth. My God, I think, I posted when it happened. I posted that basically it's a goddamn free for all now for white supremacists who want to murder people who try to stand up for Black Lives Matter and try to stand up for any of our fellow humans. And that's really terrifying. I mean, it is really scary. Rittenhouse, let me see, Harper. Rittenhouse walked by the cops with his hands up. They just drove by because he's white. I know, this is crazy. He'd be deceased if I mean, the privilege is just, but it's the police system. I blame the police system for, my God, they can't. I mean, if I saw a kid I'd say, I don't know what I say. Their life as they live it would be very much changed. They have absolutely no business being vigilante.
But this is the thing. Like I said, if this was a Black child or a non-white passing Hispanic child, the cops wouldn't have been like, first of all, he had blood on him. He had just shot those people. And that's why the other one was attacking him. When he shot him, the other one went to go get him. They keep acting like they just attacked him and he started shooting.
Right. And the thing is, he just did something that he knows is a crime, or if at the very least a horrible, horrible thing. He's killed somebody, yet he goes home. He doesn't go right to the police and say, it's just, the whole thing is just beyond.
Because he doesn't have to. That's what I'm saying. I am so not surprised. The sad thing is that nobody's surprised. Nobody.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. This is all unbelievable. I can't believe that we as a nation have our own, basically almost half of our politicians are basically white supremacists.
Batshit crazy.
Yeah, and they're white supremacists and think, oh no, oh yes, you support Trump, you are a white supremacist. Sorry, I'm just talking facts here. You cannot have it both ways.
But I also blame Democrats. You know why I blame them?
Oh
Because
yeah, I do too.
yeah, I blame them all day long, because at the end of the day, you're thinking that you're gonna be able to compromise with these people. We don't want you compromising with these people, because at the end of the day, you can't compromise with somebody that is okay with the enslavement of other people or the murder of other people. There's no way to
You
compromise
can't
that.
negotiate with terrorists,
You
basically.
negotiate. Thank you. You cannot negotiate with terrorists. And the other thing, they keep spewing this Hillary Clinton,
It's like,
these
get the
nine
fuck
Joe
over it.
Biden. And this is the thing, people need to understand that Joe Biden has been in office for how long? Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matthew Cawthorn. These are young people. So you really think they're not going to run for some or be in the cabinet doing something?
Yeah, these
That's what
people,
everybody needs to worry about. That these people are not going away.
these people are not only not going away, but they are perpetuating total bold-faced BS and absolute fabrication lies. And they're still doing it. They just won't stop. I don't even know how they sleep at night. I don't know how they look at themselves in the mirror. They are absolutely full of shit. And that's really the terrifying part. So, yeah, we could go on and on. It's still surreal to me. Let's talk a little bit about Ahmaud Arbery and his case, and then we got to wrap it up because a lot of us have to go to bed. We need our beauty sleep. I think it's way past time that America ensured the safety not only of white people but of all people. Yes, I was thrilled that the three men were found, as many of us were. But Ahmaud Arbery's trial for his murder is so deeply embedded in the fabric of life, it doesn't even register to some of the people involved. It's like a lifestyle, and that's just how they do things. It's kind of like they were tossing around in the trial the word colored people. That's the language they used in Ahmaud Arbery's trial. Like it was the 60s. They described his long, dirty toenails. They made me sick. The trial itself put racism on display. And the trial of Travis and Gregory McMichael and William Ryan, it was all about race, specifically about whether these three men had the right to chase down, detain, and ultimately murder in cold blood a person jogging through the neighborhood because, he's black and he must have done something wrong. He must be the guy. Give me a break. That's like, oh my God. And the entire neighborhood covered it up. The entire community covered it up. If the mom hadn't have questioned it, no one would know this. If the video hadn't have come out and the mom say, wait a second, that's what happened to my kid for months and months. This was a cover-up. This was a community cover-up, just like the lynchings of yesteryear. Everybody knew. They stood while he died on the street and bled to death, thinking about, God, what do? We just killed someone. Oh my God. The police there, they didn't take them and arrest those guys. They sent them home. The police got sent home by the police, or these weren't police. They were vigilantes. I think we're lucky at this point that they were even tried, because they weren't gonna be. Right up to the final days of the trial that was just ended, witnesses, defendants, and even the defense attorneys exposed their intolerance in ways that painted a very clear picture of how prejudice pervades every facet of life in America, including the criminal justice system. Just at the start of the trial, potential jurors who were black were cut immediately, but it didn't end there. The racist term colored was tossed around. A black man being in the court was some sort of, I guess, a black civil rights leader being in there was some sort of threat. It's like, no, we're the threats. The white people are the threats. We've always been the threats. They talked about his body and like he was dirty, like, well, then he deserved to die because he was jogging while dirty and black. I mean, oh my God. They hunted him down and they killed him. The whole reason we're here, even at the trial, was because Ahmaud Arbery was in the neighborhood and Michaels stopped to demand that he explain himself, why he was there. He had every fucking right to be there. Okay. And this is insanity. To me, I felt like I witnessed a lynching from in the old days when they'd advertise and bring food and their children and take body parts while the person was still alive, and then, lynch them, noose them, and burn their bodies. And if you saw my last video, you'll know all this stuff. It's like, oh my God, the defendants were saying many times during the trial, well, several times after the shooting, that the black jogger must have done something wrong. I mean, these are classic Klan people. It's just, so many people went into that house, into that home to see it. Lots of white people. We saw video after video of white people going in. This is, I mean, the whole thing, they said he was they trapped him like a rat. Racism was on display, and they were using, I guess they were trying to get the jury to just go, yeah, we're racist too. And so yeah, it's like, I don't know what they were thinking. The defense was basically, it's fun to be racist, so you guys should let us murder a black man. I don't know what they were doing.
Like you said, this is not anything new. I remember, I don't know if you know who Vernon Johns is. Mm-mm. But Vernon Johns was the preacher that was at the church that Martin Luther King used to preach at before Martin Luther King. He actually started with the civil rights movement going into that way, but it was a bunch of bougie black people in the church, and it was like, oh, we're doctors and lawyers and stuff like that. We're above certain things, and a young man was running down the street, and this white man just shot him. And when they came back to ask him, he said in no uncertain terms that, oh, he's a nigger running, so he had to be doing something wrong. And that was a true story. So, I mean, I don't, this is nothing new for us.
Right.
Nothing new.
Both cases, both Rittenhouse and this case, exemplify exactly where we stand as white people. And that is, white people get the benefit of the doubt, and black people are guilty until proven innocent. And if those two cases don't explain this, make it crystal clear, I don't know what does. It's 2021. We're still dealing with this. Oh my God. This should have been, I truly believe at the national level is the only way that we're going to ever. Why do we let states decide if they want to be inhumane, racist little shits who perpetrate and perpetuate crimes against humanity towards their citizens? I'm sorry. There has to be some sort of standard. And why do I say this? Because look at this. It's 2021. We're still murdering black people. We're still maiming black people. And we're definitely still murdering and maiming white people. But you know what? Us white folks, as long as they're getting the black people, we don't really care. That's pathological. That's depraved. But that's where we're at. So I am glad that these people, they hunted this kid down. I call him a kid because, he could have been my child. Like easily been my child.
Exactly. So what I was going to, right. What I was going to tell you, I'm going to send you this, but Vernon Johns, he, like I said, he was the preacher at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church from 1949 to 1952. And what happened was in 1949, it was just a black boy running. Some white men shot him, but his sermon, "It's okay," to to murder a black man. They arrested him for that. And the thing about it, like I said, it's all cyclic at this point in time. And to go to what Talonda said, that right there is privilege. Because now, and it's so disgusting. Like, just be quiet. Don't say that. Don't say, oh, when did this happen? No, that's your privilege right there.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see. Got a couple people that we might want to grab their Mr. Fleck, on a positive note from the courtroom, Andrew Coffey and Ken Walker were both acquitted this week. Of course, the white mainstream media won't cover this because it proves self-defense does work. See, yeah, I mean, the media is out of control in my mind, and so are the people, and I absolutely, this nation's out of control. That's all I can say. I don't know how else to say. Harper, there was an interview on CNN or MSNBC with a prosecutor and a defense attorney. They agreed both sides knew their audience, the jury, and that's why each took the route they did. Yeah, I just, boy, these two cases in this 1 week, we got to do something. Police are out of control in this country. And I feel like nothing on a federal level is happening, and this is just unconscionable. So, and it's on our watch. It's always been that way, but now it's our watch. And so it means more because I guess we falsely believe we have the chance of actually making a difference. I'm losing hope. I'm losing hope for people who are, far right, hateful people, one Trump supporter at a time. Man's out of office. The GOP could have done the right thing, but they don't want to. So I'm very scared for the future of this country. I want to say to everybody, thank you so much for being here. If you believe like I do that it's way past time for white America to take racial responsibility and actually take action and educate ourselves and then teach other white people about our real history, which is the racial part that we kind of leave out. Our real history needs to be taught. And if you do nothing and you're a white person, learn the 20 plus classic cliche denials of racism, learn to debunk them, and in your own life, do not watch or listen or do nothing when your fellow humans berate and marginalize and deny the truth. And that is that our nation was based on white supremacy and it's thriving. So, and anyway, if you know anybody who wants to come, sorry, I'm going on, and watch this, or if you want to support what we do, watch my videos, share them, come on, bring your friends, have a party. But I will not stop until, I'll never stop, because I know in my lifetime it's not looking good, but the truth needs to be spoken and more white people need to stand up and do it. So
I just wanted to say, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry.
I'll shut up. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, my love. I just wanted to say that I want to bring honor to the fact that we are living on stolen land. So many people were children, women, the elderly were murdered. So on the 25th at 12 o'clock, they were having the 52nd annual National Day of Mourning. Okay. And Miss AngrySoccerMom will be posting it for y'all, but just try to find some way to donate. Look up a Native American charity, look up, and it's on Twitter, and just understand that if we don't all stand together, we will definitely hang separately.
Yep. And I have a bunch of new videos I'm putting on. So if you want to support what I'm doing on my YouTube, on my Patreon, anything like that, jump on. I'm putting just an array of many, many different kinds of videos. And the best thing you can do for me, since I'm getting booted off YouTube, getting booted off Facebook, is share if you believe in this. Okay? Because we did this, and white people need to take part, not as heroes, not as getting our pick, not because we think we're so cool, not as saviors, as humans. That's all. Good night, everybody, and thank you. And hello to the new people. You're very welcome to be here, and we want to hear what you have to say. All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Have a good holiday tomorrow for those of you who celebrate, and stay safe. I think it's getting more crazy than not. So please stay safe, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye. Thanks, everybody. Good night, T. Good night, Mr. Vest Black. Good night, everybody. Bye, Harper. Bye, Felicia.